Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, Trading Secrets. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. For those of you who do not know, my name is Ali. I have over 20 years experience teaching accounting, economics, business and law. And through this channel, I'll be providing some stock analysis and a quick update on the $1 Million Challenge. So if anybody's not aware of this, this is a journey of an investment of $1,000 to a return of $1 million over a period of 3 years using a strategy called compound return investing. So the objective is try to get 201 trades, each with an average return of 3.5%. It's not 201 consecutive trades. We do take into account losses. So for further details in order how to join the challenge for as little as $9 a month, information is available in the description below. In the previous video, we looked at Tiximal HKD, which was up in excess of 300% in the previous week. We also did an update on Tiximal MMTLP, so please refer back to the previous video for all the updates. In today's video, we're going to be looking at Tiximal MMTLP, and we're also going to be looking at Tiximal AVCT, and I'm also going to be sharing with you news with regard to what's happening in terms of potential biggest IPO in Europe, so stay tuned for that. So before we make a start, let's have a quick look at what's happening in the market. So quick headline here from Bloomberg, we can see that today the Dow Jones opened nearly 250 points lower as investors await the Wednesday decision from the Fed. So this is a decision with regard to interest rates and also inflation. And what I would also now like to share with you is some quotations from President Biden with regard to inflation. So he was asked in a very recent interview about inflation, looking at basically what's going on. So on the screen here, let's have a look at Biden's response. So Biden did say inflation month to month was just up an inch, hardly at all. So typical politician's answer. The interviewer then said, "You're not arguing 8.3% is good news." No, not at all. It was 8.2 before. The interviewer went on to say it's the highest rate in 40 years. So Biden said the last several months it hasn't spiked, it's even. So I think it's giving a typical politician's answer. I think inflation is, however, in defense of Biden, I think inflation is a problem not only in the US, it's in Europe, it's in Asia, it's in Africa. It is a worldwide problem, and I think the actual major cause of the inflation is the situation, what's going on with the cost of living, energy prices, and central to all of this is the situation in Ukraine. I'd like to now first of all start by sharing some news from oilprice.com, and this is with regard to the largest IPO listing in Europe for a decade. So headline here, Porsche IPO set to become Europe's largest listing in over a decade. So let's have a look at the details of this. So Volkswagen is looking to raise in excess of $9.4 billion from this IPO of Porsche, and is looking at potential way for them to raise significant amount of capital. So what the company have said is, despite the havoc going on in the European capital markets, especially with regard to autos and vehicles, they're looking at a valuation approximately 70 billion euros. Between 70 and 75 billion euros for its listing, and this has been reduced from a previous figure of 85 billion. So they have taken into account the details of the fall in the economies and the increase in inflation, but let's have a look at the additional details of when this will happen and what it's going to potentially mean for investors. So we can see here, investors are going to be able to subscribe to 25% of Porsche's preferred shares. They will have no voting rights. The Porsche family will retain approximately 25% of the common shares. The IPO decision is going to be looking at, obviously, in terms of the common shares, giving you voting rights, and has agreed to pay a 7.5% premium on top of the price range. So in terms of the dates, the key date that you need to be aware of, we're looking at, so far from what I have seen, potentially looking at these shares being traded from September the 29th, and obviously giving the company huge cash boost, approximately $9.4 billion. And now I'd like to make a start on Tiximal MMTLP and looking at a question first of all here from Mrs. Y. So she's posted here a question in the comments that states, "I saw a Chevron commercial that says they will be increasing their presence by 15% in Texas." Thought that was very interesting, definitely very interesting, but no link or news article shared here. So I have been doing a bit of digging. The good news here, Mrs. Y is correct. So looking at an article here from Oklahoma Minerals, what I have found is her statement is correct. What we can see here is Chevron expects 15% growth in the Permian. So let's dig a little bit deeper into this and what this potentially means. So what Chevron have said here is they are doing their part to grow domestic supply with the US oil and gas production up 10% of the first quarter from the previous year. So great news here. Let's also have a look at some additional details with regard to the US production. We can see Chevron is looking to grow domestic supply with US oil and gas production up 10% from the first quarter. In terms of the rigs at the bottom, we can see in the last year, Texas has now added 127 rigs for its total of 344 rigs on Friday. And we're also seeing reports here while the basin-wide rig count was 335, and this is an increase of 106 rigs from the previous year. So lots and lots of growth here going on for oil and gas in the Permian. And in the final part of the article, what we can see here is reference to the situation with Ukraine and Russia, which is creating significant increases in the price. So we can see here that previous year, Russia provided approximately 31% of Europe's gas supply, and obviously this is no longer the case. So with regard to LNG, there is simply not enough right now to meet demand. So obviously the situation is potentially looking very, very bleak from a European point of view. But the other thing I'd like to draw your attention to at the very bottom of the article here is a situation with regard to leasing or selling oil and gas mineral rights. So some people have said in the past that the land is owned by the university. This is correct, but again, just a reminder here that mineral rights to the oil and gas can be sold. So obviously there is a company here by the name of Red River Hub, and that's a site that allows people to sell, or owners of the mineral rights to sell. So it's not only going on a huge scale, it's also going on a much smaller scale where people may have a few acres, and these acres with the mineral rights can be sold. And the very latest updates with regard to the situation in Ukraine and Russia, we can see here the latest headline, September the 19th, 2022, Russia's oil exports are set to plunge next year. So again, further bad news for Europe. We can see here Russian oil exports have been resilient since it's invaded Ukraine, falling just a small amount below pre-war levels despite international sanctions. So these are still there. Obviously there is a need. The EU's embargo on crude oil this December and its embargo on oil products in February will displace 2.4 million barrels of oil. So again, that's when it's going to take a hit quite significantly. But the other article I'd like to share with you, again, September the 19th, 2022. So bad news here for Germany. Germany's natural gas storage will last for 2.5 months. So going forward in terms of 2023, there is going to be a huge demand for oil, huge demand for gas, but not enough supply. And finally, I'd like to give a shout out here to Carla Blizzard, who's posted a comment that has been covered in many videos previously. So, but let's have a quick look at the question, because it may be a case that many people will maybe thinking the same thing. But the question here is maybe a stupid question. People keep talking about shares that need to be sold back by hedges since Torch. Apparently, they will lose a lot of money. If so, and it's anticipated the preferred shares are going to be worth so much, why don't the hedges just buy up the rest of the float and hold to make up for what they will lose from buying back the shorted shares? Lil DR has also added into the comments my thoughts exactly. So it may be the case that many other people are thinking the same. The answer is very simple, and that is the shorts are not entitled to the dividend. The shorts are not entitled to any spin out benefits. So the rights for rewards from the spin out are always going to be remaining with the original holders of the preferred shares. I'd like to do a quick update on ticker symbol AVCT. This is a stock that was covered in the previous video. So if you have a look at the previous video, we covered this when it was trading around about 18 cents just 1 day ago. I'm going to share with you a snippet of the weekly watch list. This is also something that we added to our weekly watch list that we shared prior to trading on the Monday, exclusive with the Discord members. But let's have a look at the chart today. I know it's currently trading at 23 cents, but at time of editing this was trading at 22 cents. So far on the day it's up in excess of 22%. So again, I am aware a number of people in the Discord have made significant profits in this, and some have also cashed in the profits. So congratulations to everybody doing well so far in ticker symbol AVCT in an overall quite significant red day. So let's have a look at a quick reminder in terms of what's going on behind the scenes. So a quick reminder in terms of why this stock is potentially doing very well. So on the screen here, you'll be able to see a link potentially here with Microsoft. So AVCT has a platform called Candy. Candy is something that fits in very nicely with Microsoft Teams, and potentially in terms of the rumors, could be a buyout, it could be a sale. So this is something that has not yet been announced, not yet confirmed. So the stock is running on rumor, but Candy is certainly something that has got some absolutely tremendous cloud communication platform features, including call routing, call recording, call centers, audio, video conferencing, chat and messaging, and again, potential here of a deal with Microsoft, but not confirmed. Finally, if anybody would like to get advanced notification of the weekly watch list, where we look at stocks such as AVCT, HKD, and many others, you can certainly consider joining us in the Discord for as little as $9 a month. This will also give you access to the $1 Million Challenge. Thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned.